heard of the Bilderberg group? Well, if you haven't, just go to YouTube. It is full of people posting there, people who want to warn you about its shadowy agenda.
These are the people setting up the New World Order.
When you look at how powerful they are, how well connected they are, and then consider that they effectively meet in secret.
These people are criminals in there, yeah, and you need to do whatever you can, yeah, to expose them. So this is
the Bilderberg conference is a private meeting, invitation only, of top global leaders, bankers, corporate execs, the political elite. The meeting is closed to the public, and as you can hear in those postings, it has conspiracy theorists up in arms. Capitalist domination, New World Order, world government. Well, this year's Bilderberg Group meeting begins today in England, and Scott Peterson is here. I'd say you have the inside scoop, but unless you've been in one of those sessions, probably not.
That's right. If I did have the inside scoop, I probably wouldn't be here or be allowed to talk to you about anything. So no wonder there's so many conspiracies about what happens here, because the topics are very broad, the people are very powerful, governments, politicians, military as well. You know, and the topics this year, for example, no exception here. Can the U.S. and Europe grow faster and create jobs? U.S. foreign policy, the EU, Middle East, Africa, current events, jobs, entitlement, debt. And every year this is a 3-day conference. This year it takes place here at Watford, UK. This is a suburb northwest of London itself. That's the hotel there that everyone will be staying at, the Grove. This is a conference that started back in 1954, named after a hotel in Holland where they got together to bring North America and Europe back together again after the ravages of the Second World War. So this is invitation only. Like you mentioned, you can't get on here. You can't petition. There's nothing you can do. You have to be a big shot. Christine Lagarde's there. Henry Kissinger has been there for loads of times. This year, a former U.S. Army General, David Petraeus. And other than that, there's lots of speculation about what happens here. There's no vote. There's no resolution. There's no policy statements. So no wonder the conspiracy theorists go crazy about this, because they just can't exactly find out what they do here. And they've been accused of everything from being behind the scenes for electing U.S. presidents, Bill Clinton famously, to the creation of the North American Free Trade Agreement. So there's all kinds of, you know, theories about what exactly they're doing there.
Well, there are at least a few Canadians we could ask after they attend this year.
That's right, and it's a who's who list as well. Craig Wright, the former PM, Chief of Staff, was there last year, not this year, of course, but here's a list of prominent Canadians that we're expecting on this list as well. Starting with Brad Wall, Saskatchewan Premier, home of lots of resources, of course, including potash. Frank McKenna, former New Brunswick Premier, he's said to have put Brad Wall on the list. He's with Brookfield Asset Management currently. Ed Clark, CEO of TD Bank currently. He was announced his resignation just a couple of months ago. Galen Weston, Executive Chairman of Loblaw. He is on the list as well. Heather Reisman has been there for quite a while. She is on the committee as well. She's the CEO of Indigo. And Robert Pritchard, he's the chair of Tories. He's a mover and shaker, former president of Torstar Group. So no exception here. Lots of Canadians representing, you know, the Canada and North America this year as well.
Let us look to the markets for a moment or two now. The overseas markets, are they echoing the slide yesterday?
They will be. You know, it's a boom and then an echo, so we're seeing some red arrows as well. But it's looking, again, after that echo comes back, we're starting to see some green shoots again in London, because it was a pretty decisively down day for the North American markets. So Tokyo, Hong Kong are off to a negative ending pretty much to their session. London, most of Europe is up very minimally, maybe 0.25% across the board. The Canadian dollar and commodity prices are somewhat green. We have the Canadian dollar up 0.25%, and oil and gold both trading to the upside.